The title I chose today is, as you can see, the next 50 years, transforming possibility into reality. These two lines summarizes of my presentation today. And I think this is also a vision of my work in the coming few years. Last week, I presented my credential to the Excellency Governor General. And how do you like my traditional costume, Korean hanbok? This is something I can show you, and this is summarizes everything that I want to deliver to you. The topic is analysis of the past 50 years and my views and projection of the next 50 years. And this diagram shows actually the big picture of last 50 years and the coming 50 years. And probably some of you may think that I'm just over 1 month's experience ambassador here. So some of you may think, how can he actually visualize this image? But the reason is this is my first visit. I was here 25 years ago. So I had enough time, more than 2 decades, to think about this, the overall status and image. And this, as you can see here, over the last 50 years, we made bilateral relationship between Canada and Korea. We made a great progress. And where we stand at the moment is, as you can see here, we are standing the end of the 50 years. 50 years ago, Korea has established embassy in Ottawa. And the first Korean came to Canada. And so we have 52 years we have established diplomatic relationship, but we didn't open the embassy. And if we can say that the establishment of diplomatic relations is an engagement, the marriage is opening of this embassy and the first Korean setting their foot on Canadian territory, Canadian soil. So we are standing, this is 50th anniversary of opening the embassy here in Canada. So we are standing at the 50 years, and we are standing at the same time at the beginning of a new chapter, a new era of another 50 years. And we have made a great progress in many respects, as you can see. But there's still a lot of great potential, untapped potential. I can explain later on what I mean by this untapped potential. As you can see, I'm optimistic about the next 50 years. We will grow. We will live to to the stage. So I'm optimistic. And if you ask me the reason why I'm so optimistic is this, because I believe our relationship is based on, like here, we are not a foolish builder who are building our house on the sinking sand, but we are a wise builder. We have our solid foundations. And I can show you what I mean by the solid foundations. The Korea and Canada, we are strong allies, no doubt, and we are ideal partners. And at the same time, we are like-minded countries in the global forum addressing these global challenges we face. And we share common values of democracy and free, open market economy and respect for human rights. And we have a long historical friendship. And also we have an enormous amount of people-to-people exchange. So this is something I I believe this is a strong foundation. This is like a solid rock that we can build our relationship. And based on this relationship we have developed over the last 50 years, we have made a great progress in many respects. And in the coming years, if you want to build a strong house and if you want to move from this stage to another stage, we need a lot of materials to build a house. And among all those materials, I think the most important is pillars, and the three most important pillars that I would like to highlight today. As you can see, the first is the most fundamental thing is political cooperation. And the other one maybe in an economic area. And also the third pillar may be a public diplomacy. So let me go into the specific areas. The first pillar, what I mean by this political cooperation is we have made a great progress in political relationship, bilateral, and at the same time also multilateral relationships. And the next coming years, we have to maintain this momentum and strengthen and deepen our relationships. And this is some elements of our political cooperation. First, historical ties, as you can see, dating back to more than 120 years. The first stage of first Canadian came to Korea, more than 200 missionaries. And one of the reasons why I choose this as my first place to share my vision after my presentation of credential last week is this historical tie. Among those 200 missionaries, I believe most of you are from University of Toronto alumni, and also is a Canadian. Among those two Canadian, Dr. Schofield is from University of Toronto, and you're alumni, and you're very proud Canadian also. And he made a great contribution. Those 200 Canadians made a great contribution, not just evangelization, but for the modernization and independence movement. So, and also, if you go back to the 60 years back, we have another great contribution by more than 20,000 Canadian soldiers came to Korea to fight against communism and to protect the freedom and democracy of Korean people. And this security cooperation is still, we have a very strong security cooperation since Korean War. And core values we share, like I said before, and we do have a very strong bilateral strategic relationships, and also on the global and regional cooperation in many respects as like-minded countries. And in the economic cooperation, we have over the past 50 years, we have focused on mainly these three areas of economic cooperation, the traditional. And the next 50 years, I believe we need to expand our areas of cooperation and at the same time deepen our existing these three areas of relationships. We usually have, the last 50 years, when we say economic cooperation, we were mainly focused on these three areas. And now what I would like to do, what I'm hoping is we would like to expand in the new territories, which has a great potential, like science and technology and innovation. This is one of the areas that we have to work together, and if we work, we can accomplish so much things if we can work together on this area. And Arctic development, Korea has a top, the shipbuilding industry, and Korea is a main maritime shipping countries. And Canada is one of the largest stakeholder of this issue and very important partner. So I think this is another area that we can explore in the future. and forest and agriculture, of course, we do have great potential. So this is a new territories especially after the free trade agreement. This is the last pillar, and probably you may not familiar with this. Some of you may not familiar with this term, public diplomacy, but you can think of this as a people-to-people exchange, which is non-traditional diplomatic area. And also, in the next coming 50 years, we would like to have this add in a new areas like cultural exchange and understanding between these people-to-people, between these two countries. And as you can see, we have a great number of this exchange of the Korean and Koreans in Canada. Actually Canadians of Korean heritage. It's more than 200,000. 25 years ago, when I first came to Canada, it was about 40,000 only, and now it's more than 200,000. At the time, the population I remember of Canada was about 27 million, and now 35 million. And the size of the Korean community is also increasing dramatically. And the 20,000 Canadians living in Korea now. And the student, I understand here in University of Toronto, you have a lot of the students and also Canadian students with Korean heritage. So this shows a great number of exchange in this area. And this is something I'm working on it. To move forward, we need to expedite this cultural exchange. We need to set up a Korean cultural center. And this is something I'm going to do within my term, and hopefully we would like to open next year. That is something I'm working on it. So with this three pillar, I think we can achieve this another 50 years of upgraded relationship between our two countries. And we do have, like I said, we have a strong foundation, and we have a strong pillars. Now our task is to build a new, strong house. If we have this foundation and pillars, do you think we have everything that we can move forward? Do you think we can transform our potential, untapped potential, into possibility and to reach our full potential? I don't think so. Those foundations and those all those pillars is not enough, I think. Because we have to be very realistic. Aside from all those rhetorics, we have to face the realities. One of the most important challenges we have to overcome, the obstacles we have to overcome to move forward is, I think, indifference. The Korean indifference toward Canada, Canadians' indifference to Korea. I thought about this image. I found this image from this morning, a Google from one of my colleagues. Found this very nice one. What do you think this image says? Can anyone guess? Salad dressing, that's right. If you want to have a great salad dressing, or we can dip our bread here. And the Canada-Korea relationship, I think, is somehow, if we leave it as it is, it's like it's like oil and vinegar. If you don't stir this pot, it will stay separate. Nothing will happen, even though we have a very good condition and we have everything that we can be a good partner, the conditions, and we are complementary nature of all those economic relations structure, and we have a great momentum. Like we have two strong, the greatest unprecedented momentum last year we have done signing a free trade agreement. I think Ian has done a great work. He was involved in 9 years, right? More than 10, I mean, almost 10 years. It took 10 years to finalize this agreement until those two leaders, our two leaders, have actually put pressure and also taking initiative and to finalize this agreement. We have done this historic momentum. We have achieved momentum. But I think this is a starting point. We haven't done everything yet. This is a starting point. We have to implement this free trade agreement. And we have another historic the milestone, launching a strategic partnership. Those two historic milestones is a important foundation that we can move forward. But I think to do that, we need someone who can stir this pot or these things. Otherwise, we will not have a delicious salad dressing. We cannot dip our bread. So if we keep on this, stirring this oil and vinegar, this Canada and Korea, we will make a very delicious, very excellent salad dressings. So this is something, my task and my responsibility, and I challenge you to become a people who can stir this this oil and vinegar. If we do this, I think we can move forward to the next stage. And we can realize this vision of transforming our potential into reality in the next coming years. And thank you so much. I think we can do, together we can accomplish so many things in the coming years. And thank you so much for your attention. Yeah.